Hey guys, here's my post for week two, module two learning journal. Um, so some of the things that stood out to me, I tried to do one for each chapter, but I have a few extra as well. One was just the political systems, the democratic, totalitarian, and authoritarian, just kind of thinking about how which countries on the lists and stuff embody those and which ones are more of a mix. And then also what stood out to was like the law and like legal systems. And kind of thinking for me, I like thinking about how like the political systems play into the legal systems and how they affect those, and especially over like decades and stuff, and how they change. And what also plays into this, what stood out to me and I loved reading about was the ethics. Um, just thinking about, even though it didn't talk about in the chapter, but the different forms of ethics and ethical viewpoints, especially that societies can adopt, but also it talked about ethical imperialism, which I think is fascinating, how there's more of an absolute and how we can, especially here in America, we can sometimes be sheltered from like more European or Eastern ideas of ethics. And we think that just because something is like right in our society means that it's right everywhere, or that it's wrong here means it's wrong everywhere, which isn't necessarily true if it's not like related to like more of a natural law of some kind. Um, Also, I like the idea that ethics combats corruption. I thought that was fascinating and true. And then the part that talked about Western versus Eastern values, I thought was very interesting, and how I liked how the German sociologist Max Weber, he talked about how more Protestant Western ideas really have driven this, made just this mindset of people who are very motivated to work, and then they work really hard, and this kind of capitalism was kind of born out of that mindset and that work ethic, from Western and Protestant ideas, from more Christendom society. And then another thing that stood out to me was outsourcing. I thought that was kind of fascinating, kind of going over the positives and negatives of that, because that's something that every company really has to face. They have to think, oh, am I going to outsource this or not? And does it make sense? Does it make sense long term? If I don't do it, how much it's going to cost me? Like, and it can depend on where they're located to and the costs and where the economy is at the moment as well. Something that was hard to understand for me was the Viro, Virio or VRIO framework. That was a little more confusing, as well as the cluster approach. I was trying to kind of understand what that was about more. And then some things that I'd like to just dive into more or on a deeper level would be the economic systems that were briefly talked about. I mean, capitalism and all of the economic systems. And then, and I talked about the mixed one as well, and kind of pinpointing which countries fall into which. And then also something else that I would like to talk about more was uh, the political, how politics play a role in the outsourcing of an economy. And another thing I'd also like to talk about more is just political risk.